Hello, everybody, and welcome to Norm, the Cheers podcast that isn't take two. Man, you guys lost out on something. Oh, gosh. We started to record. There was some gold in those hills. And sadly, Dave's internet pooped out. And we wanted to make sure that you got an uninterrupted experience. So we are starting fresh. And we now have kids coming home at a certain hour. So we don't have time to dawdle. We got to get right into season 5, episode 2, The Cape Cad. And I really like this title. I really like this episode. Look, it's 86. There's going to be uncomfortable parts, but I'm saying, in terms of writing, I think really one of my favorite written episodes that they have done. It is a joke-dense episode. Lots of good stuff. Well performed. Outstanding guest star that I didn't realize was there until the second viewing, and I looked it up on IMDb. Just some good stuff. Dave, when the Cape Cad burst onto the scene, what was going on into the world?
This is October 2nd, 1986. Sitting at number 8 on your Billboard charts. It's a little song by a group from Queens, New York, partnering with a group from Boston, Massachusetts.
Ooh.
I speak, of course, of Walk This Way, starting its inevitable slide off the charts after reaching a peak of number 4. But just a landmark of the first rap rock collaboration, which of course led us directly to the Judgment Night soundtrack a mere 16 years later. I mean, whether or not that's positive or negative in your accounting is up to your personal taste. But I thought it was worth it taking a moment to recognize the presence of Walk This Way and the joining of Aerosmith and Run DMC in a partnership that should have been replicated because it was so successful on every level.
Even though neither of them particularly wanted it.
No, or liked each other.
Walk This Way, I think, was a very beautiful and pioneering moment in history. And it's tragic that it enabled Limp Bizkit. But you know what? For its time, amazing.
I mean, I think it is probably still musically the finest rap rock combo.
They did it well.
David, I have a Mr. Kid Rock on the line for you. A Mr. Rock for you, sir.
He's got a lot of complaints about me. We can go through them point by point after this.
He's using a VPN, so it looks like it's coming from 8 Mile in Detroit, and it's actually coming from a pleasant suburb outside of Michigan.
Oh boy.
Oh, screw you, Kid Rock. All right.
Oh, wow. I have thoughts.
We do. I wish we had time.
I know.
That's its own podcast.
I know.
That's its own pod. Oh, yeah. And I'm here for it. Whenever you want to record, I'm here for it.
Okay.
All right. Tookie, can you tell us about this week's very interesting cold open?
Yeah. So they kind of slid in a recap of events into this cold open. It was a sly little like, hey, let's catch you up. But it's a continuation of the final scene of the episode prior, the season opener rather. So Diane walks in, and she's in the bar, and she's starting to stand firm in her stance to start working at Cheers again after the whole proposal fiasco on the boat. She says to Sam, 2 nights ago on the boat, you demonstrated in no uncertain terms that you and I are inevitable. You said those words that I'd hoped to hear for so long. Will you marry me? And before thinking, I responded no, but then I realized all I needed was some time alone to clear my mind. And now I've returned with a resounding yes. And, she's going on like, well, I've decided to keep working here because you and I are inevitable. And so once you realize that, we can move forward to nurture our relationship. And excuse me, I have some customers to wait on. And Sam is like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. I don't want you here. I don't want you in this building. I don't want you on this planet. Like, Diane's trying to tend to a guy, and Sam is like, nope, don't listen to anything she's saying. And she's like, oh, well, this isn't even my table anyway. And Sam storms off somewhere, but then Woody kind of sidesteps up to Diane. He goes, Miss Chambers, I'm your friend. and friends stick together. So I'm really happy that you're back. And they hug. And he says, but I'm only kind of happy because I'm friends with Sam too. And you know, as his friend and my friend, like it, it wouldn't, it wouldn't make me happy to see Sam sad. So, you know, don't tell him that we were chatting, and don't tell Sam what I just told you, that I'm happy that you're back. And Diane's confused. She's like, what did you just tell me? To which Woody says, perfect. Roll credits.
The cold open that sets up this episode. And I thought the cold open was good. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it is basically the moment after the last episode ends. Diane is there, and it is beginning what is going to be the arc that carries us through this season. Diane being convinced that they are going to be married, Sam trying to resist it until he gives in, and then we have a brief engagement and some fun stuff there. And that is going to be season 5, and they do it well. And I feel like one of the reasons they do it really well is because they knew that the heart of this series, which was will they, won't they, is ending. And I think what we've learned from series that try to do this, I'm looking at you, Moonlighting, is you can only do will they, won't they for so long before we all kind of get tired of it. Friends. I'm just saying that my least favorite part of Friends was Ross and Rachel and will they, won't they. And Ross, fuck you. How dare you say, like, you ruined Emily's life. And then somehow 4 episodes later, she's the bad guy for everybody. Everyone's mad at Emily. He said someone else's name at the wedding. Go to hell.
Who's that? I don't know. I didn't watch Friends. I just know that a lot of my white friends enjoy the hell out of it.
Yes. Yeah, it was a whole thing. We don't possibly have enough time for me to get to Emily in the explanation of Ross and Rachel.
We'll get a DVD starter set when we turn 13. Every Caucasian in America.
It comes with your Frampton Comes Alive in the mail.
The fact that this feels plausible in my mind says a lot.
No, real quickly, Ross is going to marry this British woman, Emily. Rachel wasn't going to come to the wedding. Then in the last minute, she decides to. And in the wedding ceremony, Ross says, I, Ross, take you, Rachel, instead of Emily.
Ooh.
It was a really great sitcom moment. Really well done. But also, as you look back on it, Ross was the worst. The worst. Anyway, back to Cheers, which was much better. They're there. Sam is saying, fine, I'm fine with you being here. She's going to start working in the bar until he realizes that they are supposed to be married and proposes again. And he's saying, I want you to be here so you can see all the beautiful women I'm about to enjoy some time with. And it's going to be starting that day. He's going to Cape Cod with Rhonda. And my feeling is, I enjoyed this episode. Don't get me wrong. Little nitpicking. This is the day after so the proposal happens at night. The next day, they're trying to figure out what to do. So this is the day after, yes? In chronology?
2 days later?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
48 hours.
All right. Okay. Yeah. And so I guess I'm assuming if that is the case, then maybe later that night, he would have had time to make plans with Rhonda, just saying like, all right, well, I'm not going to be alone right now. So I'm going to set up this room on the Cape and we're going to go out with Rhonda tomorrow. So maybe that's quick enough in Sam's heart, but I'm just going to go with it. Diane is saying, all right, fine, go ahead and do whatever you want. And it's not going to bother me because we are inevitable. And then he's going off to hit the Cape. And as we talked about in the deleted section, I want to someday visit the Cape Cod that Sam Malone goes to, because I've been to every part of the Cape. None of it is Sam's Cape Cod. This absolutely idyllic wonderland where it's all romantic and the bedrooms are huge and everyone's polite and there are no mini golf courses or t-shirt shops. Wonderful. Can't wait to go there.
There's near Cape, there's mid Cape, and then I guess there's like Horny Cape, which I haven't been to either.
I don't know. Where in the Cape do we think he goes to? Part of me, I think maybe Truro, and then I think Sam's too horny to go that far, so he's going to stop in Orleans. Like, I I feel
spent a
like
lot
he's
of
not
time
going
in
to
Orleans.
hiatus. Hmm?
No, I've spent a lot of time in Orleans, and that's not a particularly horny spot, though.
No. That's
This
why
is
I
all
feel
news to
like,
me.
yeah, I feel like he's going to Truro.
Isn't that where
If he
Jaws?
can wait that
No,
long. Jaws
Martha's Vineyard.
happens. It was filmed on Martha's Vineyard. In the book, it is actually Amity is a part of Cape Cod, if I'm remembering correctly.
Huh.
It is interesting. They made it an island for the movie, but it is a part of the Cape, which is very different setting. Yeah, like Cape Cod is very different from the islands, even though it's Cape
Yeah.
the Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, because a lot of people in Cape Cod, you can drive into Boston and it's not a big deal. It is a trip to go from the islands into the city.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking a boat, my friend, unless you're rich and you are going in the air. R.I.P. JFK Jr. Anyway, sorry. We're far enough removed. Fine.
And enjoy
If
our
one of our
wings,
8 viewers
podcast.
wants to complain, it's okay. It's fine. So Rhonda cancels, and Sam delivers the "Can't You Be Born Again on Monday," which is it gives you a little window into the ladies that Sam is spending time with. Everyone just on the verge of repenting. So Sam is saying, "Oh no," and then he calls up Vicky and saying, "Hey, Vicky, you want to go to the Cape this weekend?" And it's yeah, wonderful. I'll see you in 2 hours. And man, just the life they set up for Sam in this episode really seems like Sam's living it up. Like, all right, yeah, there's another woman who will go away for the weekend on 2 hours' notice, and Sam can afford to pay for it all, and everything's fine. Yeah, I feel like Sam has more money in this episode than he does in other episodes. He's doing well. He's spending the cash.
I will say the bar is hopping when we.
Yes,
Bar
it
is
is.
hopping. Yep. With, of course, leads you to, and 2 people are working there while they're gone. It's fine. It's fine. There's no need for a relief bartender. It's okay. Let's not worry about the practical aspects of Cheers. Real quick, there's a B- story in this. Carla brings in a cat to shut her kids up. The cat is giving birth, and then later on in the episode, it was a great marketing idea to give away a free beer, a cat with a free beer. And Norm, of course, is leaving with like 8 kittens, and that's the whole B- story. Very little time in the bar this week. Poor Cliff has almost nothing to do this week. Yeah, Frasier's not in this episode, I don't believe. Was he in this episode?
The back of his neck was for a hot second.
Oh, poor. Finally made it into the pre-show credits. And this is your second episode, my friend. Welcome aboard the good ship Cheers. So Sam goes to Cape Cod. He is wearing an incredibly 80s jacket with the sleeves pushed up. I'm not saying that's my 80s moment, but it's my 80s moment. I don't like to go with clothing, but I feel like this is the first time that was really occurring, where someone has a suit jacket and the sleeves are up to the elbows and no one says, "Huh, that's weird."
I noted it too, but as it had like Huey Lewis energy to it for me.
There's nothing more 80s than Huey.
He's the #1 song this week on Billboard.
Wow.
The Power of Love?
Stuck with You.
Oh, Stuck with You. Okay. Oh, God, that was a terrible song.
It's not his finest.
Well, I'm saying I'll go to bat for sports. Like, I still hear some of the songs on sports, and I'm like, that's a fun hit. I get it. Their follow-up, The Power of Love was fine in the Back to the Future soundtrack. Everything after that, Hip to Be Square, Stuck with You. Like, man, you guys, was that your best effort, Huey? I'm just saying, your best effort.
I will legit say that for at least 6 months in 1987, my favorite record was Small World by Huey Lewis and the News, a record which nobody has listened to since I listened to it in 1987.
I've never heard of that song.
It's a perfectly fine song.
Okay.
Is it?
It's B+ Huey Lewis.
I'll give you $10 if you can listen to it 5 times between now and 24 hours from now.
Oh, I'll 100% take that bet. It's not that bad.
All right. Sam goes down to the Cape, and he is being waited on by Willie Garson. I love Willie Garson's waiter character. He is like 3 of my 5 candidates for Joke of the Week. I absolutely loved Willie Garson in this episode. I want a spinoff where it is like the Love Boat, where everyone is coming to the Sea Shadows Inn and hanging out with Willie Garson, the waiter, and him commenting on everyone's attempts at romance. I want that show. I wish it had happened. He is funny throughout and underplaying it in a really beautiful way. Just so goddamn funny. And I miss Willie Garson. He was terrific in this. Sam is there. He is trying too hard with Vicky. Diane pops in. She is there to spy on him and ruin the weekend. Then Vicky has to go home. Her grandmother is dying. Sam says, great, I'll call you a cab. Vicky leaves. Diane is aware of the fact that Vicky's leaving. Sam doesn't know that Diane knows that Vicky is leaving. So now we enter the British Restoration comedy portion of the episode, which, you know, it's interesting. This isn't quite farce, but Cheers did farce on television and made it work in a way I don't think other sitcoms or movies did. I don't know what it is about the way James Burrows did it on Cheers, but I'm specifically thinking of the Woody wedding episode too, where they're really doing multiple door entrances and exit, classic farce, and it's hysterical. And this has got a little bit of that someone knows, but someone knows that they know, and it's very funny. Yeah, so Sam is trying to keep it. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the only thing I can think of that comes close TV-wise is Three's Company, which I know gets kind of like swept under the rug, but they did some pretty impressive physical stuff, John Ritter especially.
John Ritter was a terrific physical comedian. I never felt like Three's Company was quite that farce, even though it was the misunderstanding every week. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving it its due.
I'm thinking specifically of like the bedroom doors and the way they kind of used the bedroom and then the kitchen and that set was like kind of like had a little bit of that like kind of like farcical element.
All right, we'll give it a go. Next week we should try to reference a show Tookie has seen. All right, we're back on Cheers. That's the challenge for next week, so that Tookie's not just chin in hand, bemused look, going, "You're so old."
No.
So, I want Dave, if you could do a screen cap of that pose that was going on and send that to me, I would really appreciate that, because that's going to become my meme. Every time someone's telling a story that doesn't interest me at all, I'm just going to send them that picture of Tookie immediately. Like, oh, really? Tell me more about John Ritter.
I don't know what I feel like Don Knotts was in it. Is that him?
He was in it from season 3 on. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. There is a really funny scene where Sam is in his hotel room and trying to keep up the charade. He's having 2 dinners delivered by Willie Garson, who has funny lines during it, has to go back for the hot fudge sundaes. Diane calls. She wants to apologize to Vicky. She's coming up. He's got to hide the food. He's putting the dishes out by the door. There's an old couple, Harvey and his wife, and he has to have them come in and pay them $50 to make noises in the bathroom. And I was delighted by Harvey and his wife, who never actually gets her own name in it, but it's so funny. Has them run in there. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I have a separate joke of the week, so that is all yours. But it was in my running. I really, really loved it. Yeah. They go in there. Diane comes in. He's got the room a shambles, which really makes you think of the tornado-like lovemaking of one Sam Malone. Diane comes in, and apparently it's accurate because she doesn't really notice that this is like not the way the room should look after Sam has finished the act of love. So I'm guessing he's really recreated the experience in a physical way fairly accurately. Anyway, while they are talking and Diane is feeling very convinced and feeling very smug, suddenly there's noises from the bathroom. A lady chuckling. What's going on? And then Sam's feeling like maybe I got one over. And then Harvey and his wife come out and say, yeah, is that enough or do you want us to snap some towels? It's delightful. Diane is going, what the hell is happening here? They have a really well-played moment of what are we doing? We just keep going round and round, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and they're mad at each other, but they're also still in love with each other. She leaves. Willie Garson comes back in, saying, oh, it's nothing I haven't seen before. Then Harvey and the wife come out and say, I believe you owe us $50. That's a new one. Beautifully delivered. That's a new one. We end with Sam and Diane in the restaurant. They're going to eat. They both waited late, so hopefully they would avoid each other. They did not. This is an inn with apparently 2 rooms rented, and it's fine. With 3 rooms. Willie and Harvey and his wife are also there. And some more good lines that were in here in Contention for Joke of the Week. I hate eating alone. I feel like people are looking at me. I'm the only one here, Sam. Well, you're looking at me. And I loved it both times. There's great stuff. They decide to eat together. They are going to make love. Then she says maybe we shouldn't. And then she says, yes, let's should. And then he says maybe we shouldn't, screwing around with her. And then learns the most important lesson of, look, you can be happy or you can be right, but you can't be both. And then Diane says, now we're not going upstairs. She leaves. Willie comes out and says, did we lose another one? Which is in my contention for Joke of the Week as well. I've got that one or another one, and I wanted to see what you guys went with so I could pick between the two of them. But yeah, just a really funny episode. A lot of good lines. Really well done. I really liked it. Tookie, what'd you think of this week?
Oh, the do you want us to snap some towels line had me cackling. That is my joke.
Good.
So good.
Because it's like the face he made while saying it.
Yeah. Like you're realizing they're not going to dinner anymore. They're going back to their room after that. It's like, oh yeah, we haven't done this in a while, honey.
I die.
Yeah, that was it was delightful to see those characters given even the briefest little bit of an arc, and that transformation was delightful.
Well, especially because Harvey's wife, it's very much Lot's wife energy with the fact that she didn't get a name. I'm mad at that. But the fact that she was so freaked out initially, which who wouldn't be, right? And to go from appalled to like really into it. Hilarious.
It's the horny cape. It's the power of the horny cape.
Yeah.
There you go. You wait in traffic long enough, changes start to happen.
Oh boy.
Dave, what'd you think of this week?
I was impressed because like you said, there's so much that groundwork that this episode has to lay and try to do it somewhat convincingly, to help us understand that like Diane's going to still work at the bar while also being convinced that Sam's going to marry her and Sam's going to let this happen while also still being furious at her. All of these details need to get expressed, and they do really quickly, and they're sold in a way that like I mostly bought it. Like there's a part of me that was like, I feel like maybe Diane is being portrayed as a little bit more delusional than perhaps she has been in the past, but I get it. They are kind of like laying it out on the table, and like there's this pervasive sense I feel like through the whole episode, even as it's really funny, of like, oh God, this relationship is finally doomed. Like there's no way that they're going to come back from this, even though we understand that that's kind of be the defining question of the season. Ultimately, we know in our heart of hearts, as we think they do too, like no way, this can't work. And I like that. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's true. I should have written down, I did not, because I looked up who wrote this episode, and they were not names I recognized quickly. But I feel like we should give a shout out to them, because I do feel like this is a tight, well-written episode.
Agreed.
That is, in some ways, I think the model for what's going to happen from season 6 on. Which is a little, even though this has a good story, just more joke-dense episodes of Cheers going on, and I genuinely enjoyed it a lot. All right, my joke of the week. So we've got Tookie's joke of the week. My joke of the week is going to be Vicky, wasn't it Rhonda? Rhonda had to cancel, but that's good. I like Vicky better than Rhonda. In fact, I'm hoping that Vicky cancels because I have someone even better waiting in the wings. I know, me. No. I loved that. I loved it. I loved everything going on in that line. I loved how confident Diane delivered it. I love how much Sam knows it's true, and that's why he gets so upset about it, and how quick she was with it. Really, really funny line.
So many great little Shelley Long moments, even like in kind of throwaway lines. Like even that in that cold open with Woody, when she says, Woody, what are you telling me? Or what? Like there really is like there's like a kind of like there was like a note of, again, like sort of sadness or like something has changed in the way she delivered it, and it was funny, but also like, oh, Diane is feeling it, and like that happened a bunch in this episode. She's great.
Something I'm realizing I like a lot about season 5 when I think about how many episodes in season 5 I enjoy is it's Diane and love. You know, there are so many moments in the first 4 seasons, as well as Shelley Long plays it, as interesting as Diane is, where Diane is sort of judgmental. She's going back and forth. This is Diane in love this season. And it's very fun to experience, to see her embrace it, to just throw herself into the arms of the inevitability of this love that she shares with this man and the confidence she feels that it's going to happen and it's going to work. And it drives the comedy in a different way that I really like. I think they do it really well. They write it well. She acts it well. Sam, Ted Danson receives that well and knows how far to push it, knows how to play with it. It's really good. I like it a lot, and I'm excited for season 5 because of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Dave, do you have a joke of the week?
My joke of the week. Ooh, I forgot to put up the Chiron. Yeah, I'll go with with Sam's proposal to the couple in the hallway when he offers him $50, and he says, no weird stuff. I just want your wife to go in the bathroom and make some noises.
Oh, it's great.
So funny.
So
I was
good.
like, there's no way that they can sort of like top that, and then they like the scene like builds beautifully to the line you already mentioned. It's so good. They're so great.
And just the Harvey's delivery of "I believe you owe us $50."
Oh God, so good.
Oh, and it's Willie Garson's. That's a new one. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then one more shout out to Willie Garson at the end. Did we lose another one? It was really, I love, as much as I appreciate the moments where Sam is reflective at the end of an episode and they feel like they don't need to end it on a big laugh, ending this on a big laugh and like that's what's carrying you through to next week is a nice feeling. It's a good moment. All right. 80s thing of the week. I don't like to do clothing, but I had to do it for that jacket with the pushed up elbows. I had to give it to that. It was so very 80s. It was really, really good. Dave, your 80s thing.
I'm also gonna go visual. I have to go with the look of that interior of the restaurant. Like that is, I remember eating at that restaurant.
Yeah.
So like I remember in the town I grew up in, it was called the Rendezvous. But like I've been in that restaurant 100 times, and now when I go to those places and I can feel or perceive that energy because they haven't, the decoration hasn't been updated enough. I'm always like, okay, great. I'm in 1987. I know exactly what I'm going to order. It's chicken fingers. I knew that restaurant backwards and forwards. The color palette, the chairs, the decorations was just perfect. 1986.
Absolutely. Tookie, your 80s things.
Okay, yes. Definitely clocked the restaurant interior. We talked about Sam's blazer. Diane's cape outfit as well, with the pleated pants with the sweater over the gingham shirt. My God. And it's all coordinated. Sam telling Carla that he's about to be mayor of Casaba City.
Yes, I feel like Casaba's is very 80s. I
So
don't
80s.
think that survived into the 90s.
It's so 80s.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
So not so much like a complete 80s moment, but definitely a meme on television, both in live action and cartoons. Kittens in a Box. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what Woody meant when Carla was like, oh no, is there a way to stop her from giving birth? Is it too late to go to the drugstore? I don't know what he meant by that.
I thought it was a condom joke.
Yeah, that was a euphemism for going to get birth control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is absolutely an 80s thing. And that was in my contention for 80s things was, do you think we have to go to the drugstore? Like I had friends in high school where they had a specific drugstore that they went to that was just far enough away that their parents wouldn't go to that same drugstore. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yep. And then my last 80s moment, because we touched on a lot of similar ones, is it's kind of a meme trope but definitely an 80s thing. The whole thing about say I forget which woman he said this about, but saying like she's double jointed in terms of being in the bedroom, and that being implicit of it's going to be a real good time. So the whole double jointed thing.
You know, I feel like that ended when there was an episode of Seinfeld where he was dating a gymnast, and Kramer was saying he was going to break up with her, and he was like, no, you can't. You have to date a gymnast. Oh, it's incredible. Oh my God. And then like, so Sam holds out until they have sex, and it's very unimpressive. And he's like, yeah, no, I kind of thought I'd be like the apparatus. And yeah, that like, somehow I feel like that episode ended the idea of a woman who's double jointed and really flexible. Oh my God, the sex. I feel like that kind of killed it. I don't think there were a bunch of references like that later on.
Yeah, it just feels of a time. Yeah.
Definitely.
Never was of at any time ever again. So possibly Seinfeld killed it.
Yeah, I that's my working theory. Because I do remember that episode of Seinfeld and feeling like that, double jointed or flexible, or she does yoga, like that kind of stuff, like that stopped being a thing after that. Yep. Let me see. Tookie, how white was this week's episode?
Oh, we were so close. They really jam-packed the extras in the first two scenes.
It was a full bar. But we were just not in the bar. And then a very white Cape Cod.
Oh, my God. Like, it was just Cape Cod, basically. But, well. Oh, and I will say, though, the Cape Cod Inn, we clocked the interior. Just the look of it and the look of the photograph they used to set the exterior had a lot of, like, Kennedy compound energy to it. To me.
Yeah, that's a Martha's Vineyard actual still extant inn.
Wow.
Well. But yeah, the Kennedy compound.
Well, now I want to visit it. Dave, you have to send us the actual name of that place.
Yeah.
I can get it. It's the Kelly House in Edgartown, Massachusetts.
Aha.
All right. Get ready to get visited, Kelly House.
Road trip.
It's under it's being reconstructed until 2023, so it's renovated.
Sons of bitches.
So you gotta wait.
Road trip next summer.
Let's do it.
All right.
We'll stop at Christmas tree shop on the way.
Done. Well, it's Ed. We got to get on the ferry. So road and water trip.
True.
Yeah. Maybe MV is the horny Cape.
Maybe.
No, the islands can't be horny. The ferry ride's too long. It's too far. It's a lot of stuff too. Dershowitz is there.
Oh, damn it!
It's you gotta get this cobblestones. So you're walking awkwardly.
There's no stoplights.
Yeah, not the island. Yeah. There's depressed fishermen nearby. It's not horny.
We're so close.
I do want to pose this question. We can pick it up another time, but I want to just I want to throw it out there. What is the horniest town in Massachusetts?
Well, I mean, it's Provincetown, but I feel like, I feel like that's one of the reasons P-Town became what it was, which is, look, we are judged by society. We've got to get as far away from the rest of these people as we can. And once we get there, holy shit, is it going down. We are on the edge of the fucking world. We're at the last stop in the United States. All bets are off. We're practically in international waters. Because it was even before it became. I feel like it was that even before it became known as like the gay mecca. Like even when the Provincetown Players were there, like all the writers were going there, and suddenly they were all in open marriages. Like Provincetown is it's horny.
Mm. I think Saugus might be like surprisingly horny.
You think?
Well, they put something in the pasta sauce at Giggles.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing's ever killed my boner more than Giggles. I gotta get here. I gotta turn around. I gotta come down to the other side. Look at all these pictures. Jesus Christ.
No commento. So let's get the count going.
All
In
right.
the cold open, we had a black woman at the piano, a black man at the bar, a Latin. I perceived him to be possibly Latin American man at the jukebox, a black man who sat near who sits with the other black man at the jukebox, a black woman at an upper table near the doors, and an Asian man by the jukebox. And then in scene one, they reused all 5 of those extras. But there was an error, and I think it was like a taping thing because the Asian man who was sitting by the jukebox re-entered the bar at some point. So we're kind of double counting him in a sense. And then a black woman who entered, another black woman who meets her enters as well, and they chit chat. She kind of had like, if you took a look at her, she kind of had like an aura of Grace Jones to her. She was very kind of majestic. She was in like this plaid situation in scene 1. But that's about it. 8 people of color. Huge downturn.
Yeah. And when it's this long with that few people on Cape Cod, I had a feeling this is going to be a tough count week.
It was not their finest.
Yeah.
But they had to do what they had to do.
But it would have been nice to populate that in a little bit more.
A little. Yeah.
You'd think, yeah. You would think. All right. I mean, I just really, I dug it. I think it sets us up well for where we're going. I think it's going to be really good. I loved the interplay between Ted Danson and Shelley Long. I almost feel like they know this is it. You get the feeling that, and they're going to, there maybe been some moments of contention, and now they're like, we know what our relationship is. Let's enjoy what we've got left. And I think they're going to. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. It is good stuff. And I'm glad next week, if I'm remembering it correctly, the rest of the cast gets to shine a lot next week. We've got Cliff's mom coming in next week. Very exciting. Yeah. We've got a couple of outstanding guest star appearances coming up in the next 2 episodes. Very, very, very special episodes coming up these next 2 weeks.
I'm seeing, looking ahead. This is very exciting.
Isn't it? Oh, yeah. An all-timer coming up.
Ooh.
2 all-timers coming up. Yep.
Much exciting.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. We got a little bit of time to talk. I don't really want to cover Shrek again. We talked way more Shrek than we should have in the deleted episode, which is a reminder that when you get the DVD and there's deleted scenes and you watch them, you get why they're deleted. You totally understand why they deleted these scenes. So those are there.
Well, I haven't seen any of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, so that is
something that we talked about, which shocked me that you've never seen Beverly Hills Cop.
Considering
Beverly
the
Hills
breadth
Cop
of knowledge you possess about Eddie Murphy and people who have taken Eddie Murphy's place.
I know.
Yeah, a staggering amount of knowledge there. But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, you need to watch that.
I know, I do.
It's really good. Ignore the stuff with Damon Wayans. That's just going to be there.
Okay.
Damon Wayans has a weird little scene in Beverly Hills Cop. That's just there. It's in 80s comedies. It's like it was a legal requirement to have like 3 homophobic moments in every 80s comedy. And that's in there. So, but I just want to give you a fair warning. I don't want to be like I'm saying, beginning to end, this movie is completely fine and it's held up perfectly. A lot has held up well. A couple of things did not.
Noted.
But yeah, Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop. You understood why there was a stretch where he was just the biggest star on the planet.
It's on Prime, you said?
No. I'm not sure if it's on Prime. It is on Showtime, I believe.
Wow.
So I saw it on Showtime. I'm saying it pops up on cable a lot.
Okay.
I think it is on Paramount Plus streaming.
Okay.
If you have that. But it is also, which is another reason I think Paramount Plus is going away very quickly. Like their stuff still pops up in a lot of other places. So it's not like you can say, all right, well, if I want to watch Eddie Murphy in his prime, I have to get Paramount Plus.
Well, the only reason we have it is because every now and then I watch Star Trek related media under duress
Ah,
and live tweet it.
okay, yes. Then you have free Beverly Hills Cop at your fingertips whenever you would like it.
I guess so.
It's right there. It's waiting for you.
I guess.
And it really is funny. And I know I've referenced this podcast a few times, the Rewatchables. They did a Rewatchables about Beverly Hills Cop with Bill Simmons and Wesley Morris,
Wesley Morris.
who is, Pulitzer Prize winning film critic. Now writes for the New York Times. And it's a fascinating examination of Beverly Hills Cop where Wesley Morris is talking about everything going on in that movie and made me see it in a completely different way. Where first there was a conversation about whether or not Axel Foley, the character that Eddie Murphy plays, is actually gay.
Oh.
And if you watch it, it makes a lot of sense. And then Wesley Morris talks about the politics of the time and how Eddie Murphy, a black man, is not allowed to be romantic with anyone other than a black woman.
Mhm.
And they didn't want to put a black woman in this movie. So Axel Foley does not get to be with a woman in Beverly Hills Cop. Which when you watch it again, it's kind of shocking because any cop or detective in an 80s movie is automatically going to hook up with somebody. It's going to happen. It's there. And in Beverly Hills Cop, it does not happen. And there are opportunities for it to happen. And hearing them break down why it didn't happen is really interesting. Really interesting.
The producers are just, because the Hays Code had ended by then. It was long dead.
Yeah, they could, but it was just Hollywood saying, hey, this guy is a gigantic star, and we don't want controversy by him hooking up with a white woman. But if we have him hooking up with a black woman, suddenly we've got a black movie. There was this feeling in the 80s that as long as you had Eddie Murphy in a movie, but Eddie Murphy was the only black person in that movie, it was not a black movie. Which is why there was some really awful backlash when Eddie started insisting on doing movies with predominantly black casts. Mm-hmm. Like if you ever read the reviews for Boomerang, which is a really funny movie and has a lot of good stuff in it. There are some reviews that are cringeworthy to go back and read now, where it's, what is this fictional world where there's a business and white people just don't exist in Eddie Murphy's world? And meanwhile, somehow it was fine for him to have done all these movies where he was the only black person in existence.
In Detroit.
Yeah, in Detroit.
What?
His best friends from Detroit are both white people. Yeah.
Eminem is literally the only white Detroiter. I don't who.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm pulling a midnight run right now and saying Tookie really has to watch Beverly Hills Cop before next week.
I can report back.
Yeah, I really, really want to hear what you have to say about Beverly Hills Cop.
That's my homework.
There's so much good and so much weird about it. It's really, really a fascinating moment in the 80s.
I feel like you're right. It does tell. It tells a lot about what we were in 1986 or whenever it came out.
Yeah, so watch that. And if you get a chance to listen to that podcast, I love listening to Wesley Morris break it down and talk about what was going on at the time. He's just a super, super interesting guy to hear talk about film.
That's so annoying though, that if we have a realistic portrayal of a relationship between two black people, it's a black, oh my God. Mm-hmm. It's not just a movie anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating. There was a sketch on I don't know if we've talked about this before. During the Janine Garofalo years of Saturday Night Live, or her 6-month stint on there, there was a stretch right before they recast everything, and it was really a bad time. But there was a sketch I remembered where it was like they were making a commercial, and in it there was an interracial kiss, like a long kiss for toothpaste. It was like Sparkle Bright, and the whole premise of it is, wait a minute, you've got a black person kissing a white person. What are we doing? And they're like, oh yeah, no, this is going to be fantastic, and we're going to be running it during the Country Music Awards and this and that. Yeah, and it was, oh my God. And now I don't know, Tookie, if you notice this quite as much, like Jen and I, being an interracial couple, when we watch TV, it used to be, and we've been married for 11 years, it used to be a moment where whenever we would actually see a commercial with an interracial couple, we'd be like, "Yay!" And now we're like, "This is every commercial.
It is every
It's
commercial.
it is every commercial
It's
now.
every
It's
commercial.
hysterical. Yeah,
It's every
like, all
commercial.
right, yep.
It's
Yeah,
it's
we'll just be watching it. Yeah, if you see a white person, you're like, "All right, who are they married to?"
yeah. It's hilarious because it's like it's sometimes a black man and a white woman and a beige kid who kind of looks like me. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. But like I was an adult when that sketch happened, and now that's every commercial.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is like progress or if this is like some sort of weird like bubble, like symptom of late stage capitalism where we're like, we need to figure out how to market to every single person before this thing explodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? Speaking
I don't know either. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Eddie Murphy, the producers thwarting any chance of Eddie Murphy working with a black woman lead at that point. I was having a chit chat with our fellow comic friend Dan Bulger. Hi Dan, if you ever see this. And
hey Danny B.
And we were discussing certain events that we will not bring up here, especially for time. But he was saying like, yeah, he also feels for Nia Long. And then he asked like, but where do I know her from? And I explained to him the concept that she's very much black famous. She's an all-star. She's a black all-star, but she's black famous. And we had to, create a distinction where it's like, well, what about Jay-Z? Jay-Z's famous. Nia Long is black famous. So it's a whole, it's just different. It's just different. Yep. Still famous, but it's just different.
Yeah, and I told you the Van Lathan tweet where it's like Ime's about to find out that Nia Long has 100% approval in the black community. This is not going to be good for Ime.
100%. He's done.
Yeah.
He's real donezo.
Yeah. Yep. We've talked about Boomerang. You've seen Boomerang.
No.
Wow.
I know of it. I know this is Halle Berry pre-nose job. Oops. Mm-hmm. But
Halle Berry, Robin Givens, John Witherspoon in one of the all-time. Oh God. He's in this Thanksgiving scene. And you know what? Even if you just watch the Thanksgiving scene, what a fucking tour de force that man is in that scene. It's unbelievable. You've never seen a guy come in and steal 7 minutes of a movie like John Witherspoon does. And he's stealing this movie from Eddie Murphy and Halle Berry and David Alan Grier and Martin Lawrence.
Wow.
They're all in this scene with him. And it might as well just be John Witherspoon. It's incredible. It's incredible.
That is an entire like murderer's row, like
yes,
the dream team of black all-star casting in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. And they're all just taking a step back and letting that man run. It's so unbelievable to watch again. It's so good.
Okay, well, I got to find out where it's streaming.
I think that was also Paramount. I think because Eddie was one of the last contract players, and he had a contract with Paramount. And I know his first chunk of movies were all Paramount movies, and I want to say, like really into the early '90s, it was still Paramount. So I can't swear to Boomerang. I'm positive Beverly Hills Cop is there.
Okay.
But yeah, check for Boomerang.
Okay.
But oh my God, now I'm gonna look that up on YouTube before Kyle gets home. I just need to see the Thanksgiving scene. It's God, it's so good.
It's not for a babe's ears.
It's what?
It's not for a babe's ears.
No. Well, it's
fair.
It's not. I don't really. It's funny. As much as I love it, I don't think I've seen it in a few years now. And there's one section that I know my 9-year-old can't watch.
Okay.
There's no nudity, but it's. I don't want to spoil it, but you wouldn't show it to a kid. But it's so good.
Noted.
It's so good.
That movie to me, my memory of it is akin to like watching Damian Lillard, Portland Trailblazers, where like, this is a serviceable team. They're going to win 46, 48 games. They're not going to set the world on fire. But then like, there's always like an 11-minute stretch where Dame Lillard does spectacular things and you're just like riveted. That's John Witherspoon in Boomerang to me. It's like watching this very fine, competently made romantic comedy, and then in the middle of it, there's just all of a sudden the sun explodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, my homework for the week is definitely to watch Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I got to find out where Boomerang is streaming.
One of my favorite things is when someone's getting to experience something that you love for the first time, where it's like, I get so excited for them. And it's like, you get to watch Beverly Hills Cop for the first time. That's awesome. Like, that's something you never get to do again.
Should I live tweet if any of our viewers would? Okay. All right.
I mean, I think so. Yeah. But give me a heads up when you're going to do that, because I would like to follow the live tweeting.
Okay. All right. Well, because I have opinions sometimes.
I'm aware. I'm so excited to hear them.
Oh my God. Well, because bless everybody who sat through the RoboCop live tweet session.
That was fun. That was fun. Yeah, and neither of these movies is tweet proof, where you're like, oh yeah, like, no, you're not going to have anything to say about these. No, you're definitely going to have some thoughts, and they're going to be very interesting thoughts.
Oh boy, I'm scared. I don't know. Should I be excited or scared or both?
I think excited. I mean, but I don't want to tell you what to think or how to feel. And obviously, I'm coming at this from two different points in my life and from a different perspective. But I do feel confident enough to say that there's enough great stuff in there that you're going to have fun.
Okay.
Like, you're going to note some problematic stuff. You're going to note some issues. But there's enough great stuff in there that there's going to be a lot of like, holy shit, I'm going to have to watch that again.
I'm taking your word for it. I trust.
Yeah.
I trust.
Yeah. I'll be shocked if you don't enjoy John Witherspoon in Boomerang. I'll be shocked.
Well, we got to find it streaming first.
Yeah. It's out there. All right. Anything to promote before we go? Any shows coming up
this week? I got nothing.
Endicott College Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, I think that's where my niece goes.
Really?
Is that in Beverly?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh, I got to give her a heads up. Yeah, my niece Sydney goes there.
Hi, Sydney, in advance.
I feel bad that I didn't know that immediately, that I had to think about it, but I feel like Endicott is that's New England liberal arts school, where it's like, well, I feel like, yeah, there's like 6 different schools that have a similar sounding name.
Yes.
Yeah. When is your show?
It's Laugh It Out numeral 3. 3. Wait. And it's hosted by Bethany Vandell.
Awesome.
I know. It'll be a really good time. I believe it's semi-ish open to the public. I think you can get tickets, but it's predominantly for folks on campus. Yeah. But it'll be Bethany Vandell hosting. I'll be there along with new up-and-comer Christina Feliciano and recent New York transplant Kendra Dossie.
Oh, great show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it'll be a good time.
All right. Cool. I will give Sid a heads up.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. That's fun stuff to catch. Until next week, we shall return with Cliff's mom. I'm Mike. That's Tookie. That's Dave. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.